Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. Brian Winnekins from the NAFB Convention. Thank you to our NAFB Convention sponsors, including Alcivia Co-op, Compeer Financial, Annabis Silo Osteoplastics, and also the Wisconsin Farmers Union. Speaking of Farmers Union, I'm with Rob Larew. He is president of the National Farmers Union. And Rob, thanks for joining us today. One of the big... First, let's talk about the infrastructure bill that was recently signed. That is really going to provide some benefits for rural America?
Yeah. First of all, it's a historic investment in rural America and really our infrastructure across the board. Primarily, a lot of folks are going to see it with the investment in rural broadband, but also for agriculture. We've been pushing for years for reinvestment to repair and upgrade a lot of the infrastructure out there, roads, bridges, waterways, and this is also good news, I think, for everybody because not only is it this investment, but it's also the first time in a very long time that we've had such a huge win that was also bipartisan. You had Republicans and Democrats coming together, working with the White House, and we certainly hope that they have now seen a model of ways that they can compromise and work together to make sure that they have benefits out there for not only rural America, but the U.S. economy as a whole.
Is there a concern with all of the spending, though? There's a lot of concern about that how that could adversely affect the economy?
Well, always you have to be on the lookout for that. And as we look at future packages, we need to make sure that whatever they are doing for the pay-fors, because we have to make sure that we're paying for all this, is done in such a way that it does not have negative impact out there on the economy. Certainly, I think agriculture across the board, Farmers Union, working with many other groups, have made sure that policies such as the stepped-up basis, tax policies related to agriculture are not going to be included in here. I think we've been very successful in that, making sure that it was not as part of the infrastructure package, and at present it is absolutely not in the Build Back Better, which has a lot of those additional investments in rural America, like climate smart ag and so forth.
Talking with Rob Larew. He is president of National Farmers Union. I had a chance to talk with Rob at the NAFB convention. Let's talk about something that Farmers Union is doing, the Farmers for Fairness campaign. Tell us about that.
Well, first of all, this is an issue around making sure that farmers are treated fairly in the marketplace. It is not about special treatment. It is about making sure that the market is working the way it's intended to be, making sure that we have free and open and working markets and that they're transparent. And this is really where Farmers Union got its start at the turn of the 20th century, actually, at a time when farmers were at a massive disadvantage to the railroads and just so few players in the marketplace that they really were at their beck and call. Nowadays, we're seeing with all the consolidation that we've had, we see the trouble in the cattle markets. We see the trouble in a lot of agriculture, whether it's inputs, whether such as fertilizer, across the board. And so, Farmers Union has a campaign right now, Fairness for Farmers, which is really about making sure that farmers have a fair shake in the marketplace, but also that consumers, because what we also know is that when you have so much consolidation and you have so few players, that what happens is that consumers end up getting charged much more on the other end, and farmers get hit with higher prices for inputs and lower prices for their products in the end.
So the campaign, is this something targeted at Congress to try and get some changes, or how will it work?
No, it's great. So right now the campaign is really centered on education, engaging our membership, which they've been working on this issue for a long time, making sure that they also are telling their stories, because that's where we think that it's the biggest impact. What is the effect on a dairy farmer in upper mid Wisconsin? Whether it's not only where they're selling their milk, but all of the rest of the things that they're doing for buying those inputs, et cetera, transportation costs, all of these things have a big impact. And so it's about capturing those stories right now, educating. We are working with Capitol Hill, trying to educate them as well, but you will see this campaign develop over the next few months with much more advertising, and then moving into next year, hammering hard on Capitol Hill to get real and meaningful changes.
And obviously, this will be something that will be a big discussion at the upcoming annual convention in Denver.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, we're going around the state conventions. And this is another thing about this issue is when you're talking about consolidation in agriculture, it doesn't matter if you're in the south, east, and north, the Northeast or out west, there are issues that are impacting you. And so, like I said, right now it's about making sure that folks understand the campaign is there, getting the information out, and getting folks to tell their story.
It's Rob Larew. He is with the National Farmers Union from the NAFB convention. I'm Brian Winnikins for WRDN.